This is the Uptick Network Stock Day podcast, sponsored by InvestorsHangout.com. Penny stock news and interviews from the microcap world. Public information on OTC, pink sheets, and microcap stocks from around the world. With your host, Everett Jolly.
On today's show, we have a very exciting guest with us. It's Joel Leetzow. Am I pronouncing that correct?
Sure, close enough, Everett.
Anyway, he is the CEO and president of Cortex Business Solutions. They trade on the TSX Venture under the ticker symbol CBX. Joe, thank you for coming on the show and welcome.
Thank you, Everett. I appreciate the time. It's an honor.
Hey, give me a little bit of background on yourself and a little bit of background on your business, and then we'll really get into a Q&A.
Sure. So, Everett, a little bit about myself. I've been a 30-year serial entrepreneur. I've started and run 4 different of my own companies in my life. My most recent venture I sold to a company out of Canada called Descartes Systems Group, DSG, also listed on the Toronto Stock Exchange in 2009. I stuck around with them for 6 years as a vice president of business development, and last year, Cortex came knocking on my door to see if I'd be willing to move to Calgary and take the helm of Cortex. So that being said, I've been here almost exactly a year, about 2 weeks past that mark. Certainly been an exciting time to get into oil and gas. As you can imagine, I came in May and the commodities pricing dropped in June. Certainly wasn't part of the original business plan, but we've been able to weather that storm quite well.
Absolutely.
The market itself is down about 40%, and our business itself from a transaction between customers is down about 20%. And then last year we were able to grow through that downturn by bringing in 15% net new revenue, which put us down about 5% year over year, which most folks in the oil and gas business would say that's a phenomenal story.
My question to you, explain briefly if you can, what does Cortex do, your business model, and what is your competition out there like also?
Sure. So what we do as a business is, simply put, we're a network as a service model hosted in a cloud that allows a supplier of services or products to send an invoice electronically to a buyer so that it's instantaneously delivered, and there's a visibility play between the buyer of the goods and the supplier of the product to allow them to say, I've received the goods, I'm approving payment for the goods, and that visibility flows back to the vendor so that they know when they're going to be paid.
Now, do you guys charge per document? How's your when you monetize this, is there different charges for various setups and fees?
Sure. So we've really got about 3 revenue streams as a company. We've got our professional services division that basically charges our customers to integrate the solution, train their people on how to use it, and more or less get them live as professional services. The second opportunity for revenue for us is a bit like a gym membership. To be on the Cortex network trading, we ask our customers to pay us for the privilege of having the capacity to do it. And then there's a second charge, and this splits our revenue about 50-50, by the way, where they're actually paying us per document to flow on the network. And then the pricing for those actual documents is really based on the commitment level they're willing to make to us. So we have customers who send 100,000 documents a month. Clearly those folks are paying a lower price per document than someone sending 1 or 2.
I see. My guest today is Joel Leetzow. He is the CEO and president of Cortex Business Solutions. They trade on the TSX Venture under the ticker symbol CBX. They also trade on the OTCQX under the ticker symbol CTPNF. Now, Joe, you've been the CEO roughly 12 months. Can you share the progress of what you guys have been up to and give us a game plan of what's going to happen here in the near future for 2016?
Sure, absolutely. So when I came into the company 12 months ago, there were some things that really attracted me about the business. Having come from Descartes, another network as a service type of company, I certainly understood the business that Cortex was in, and I understood the ability for that product and service to grow within its market while, fairly maintaining cost at a fixed rate. So when I came in, we were spending about $17 million a year. We were bringing in about $10 million a year in revenue. And, the company had gone through cash raise after cash raise over the years to basically survive as a business. What I did was bring the cost in line. It took me 2 quarters to basically find the balance point for where the business was no longer, leaching money out from a cash flow perspective. And we have spent the last 12 months tuning the product, visiting with customers, making sure that our messaging from a sales perspective is spot on with what people are thinking we do as a business versus what we may have told them in the past we did as a business.
Right.
And I think we're really poised to have a good year of growth. Now, that being said, we were traditionally, and 98% of our revenues came from oil and gas. And one of my background is not oil and gas, it's everything but manufacturing, distribution, retail, etc.
Exactly.
So the product that Cortex has for e-invoicing is quite generic. It's not any more appealing to oil and gas than it would be to mining, construction, healthcare, whatever. It just so happens that we're a Calgary-based company. Oil and gas has, been over $100 a barrel. And in our own backyard, we've been able to facilitate a lot of business within oil and gas. Now, one of my missions as a CEO was to clearly bring us into other markets I'd been in before, markets I knew and understood, and markets I had network contacts in. So in the first 12 months since I've been here, we've actually been able to diversify with our customer base, and we've got 4 fairly landmark deals in verticals that have nothing to do with oil and gas. One of the best case studies we've produced this year as a company is with Calgary Sports and Entertainment Group. Now, people ask me all the time, what's the relationship between, a hockey, a football, and a sports entertainment
Exactly.
company to oil and gas? And the beauty is nothing at all. But we went in, they needed the solution that we had. Of course, it always helps when you're local, and we were a local-based company. They're a local-based company. And I'm really proud to tell you that, 12 months later, we closed this piece of business in June, not far after I got here. They're saving $500,000 a year in documented run rate. To that, they're paying us about $30,000 for the privilege. And when you compare a $500,000 savings to a $30,000 spend, I don't mean to say, people should just be ordering our product, but the bottom line is that's a pretty compelling business proposition that we will now go after the balance of the industry, both in the United States as well as Canada, to chase every sports and entertainment company. We've also had a landmark deal in manufacturing. We've had one in mining. We've had one in waste management. And all of those are verticals of which we have sales teams actively engaging.
Let's talk about your burn rate. Before you came on as a CEO, the burn rate for Cortex Business was awful. That's no longer the problem. Is that correct?
It is correct.
And so are we going to be cash positive in 2016?
I think we're going to be absolutely close. And when I say close, what I'll tell you is I brought the business to where last quarter, I think, based on the financials, and I don't have them in front of me, we burned about $100,000. Far different than the $2.5 million we burned year over year the year prior.
I saw that. Congratulations.
Yep. Thank you. It wasn't easy. We put our staff through a lot in the past 12 months. The good news is we didn't really put our customers through anything, and most of the turmoil to get this change to happen was very much inside the 4 walls of Cortex. The customers have always been happy, and that was one of the appealing things about me taking this role is what's our perception in the market, and the perception was positive, and we were spending a lot of money to make it so. So, part of the challenge is when you do a startup, and I've done them myself, you often have to buy your initial piece of business in order to validate yourself in a market, and I don't think Cortex ever, took the advantage of the fact that we have 10,000 customers in 2015. Why would you still be price modeling it as a market leader or a loss leader to get into the market? It's all about achieving critical mass, and whether it was 5, whether it was 50, it damn sure wasn't 10,000 customers to hit that critical mass. And now that we've accepted we're in critical mass, our customers have accepted we're still a low price leader within the industry, but we can be profitable from this part forward. So although the cost of the business, we had 102 people when I got here. We're currently running the business more efficiently with 80, giving better service and support to our customers And the bottom line is the next 16 million transactions we stack on top of the 16 million we already have, the profitability goes up exponentially because all of the cost of the cloud-based service we provide, we're basically covered in the first $10 million. So this does have to be a year of growth, but I'll also tell you this, Everett, I'm got $6 million in the bank from a war chest perspective, and clearly the market wants me to grow this company, and so I think they don't want me to spend millions of dollars to do it, but I don't think they expect huge profits this year or cash flow positive. I think what they expect me to do is leverage the cash I have to grow the business, and it's been made very clear to me that growth is sexy when it's profitable. Go do both. And so my goal for 2016 is to get as close as I can, if not over the line. And then in addition to that, of course, we've really got to focus on growing our revenue as net new customers are being added. And to put it in perspective, we had about 3 new customers a day, Everett. So
that's awesome.
When you have that kind of momentum and velocity going, it won't be long, but I also don't want to forecast and say this is going to be in, December of 2016 we'll cross the line. The bottom line is we'll continue to be diligent about the spend, and we'll continue to leverage the capital we have to provide a return for our investors.
Going forward, adding top growth and bottom growth, do you think you guys will be doing any M&As here in the next 3 or 4 quarters?
Well, I don't want to say I'm an M&A expert, but I did, divest from 4 companies in my life to public companies profitably. I've been on the acquisitions team at Descartes for 6 years, looking at the 15 or 20 acquisitions that I adjust every year as a billion-dollar market cap company. So it's absolutely on my plan. When, who, and where. What I'd like to say is we got the patient out of surgery and they're back up and walking, but the last thing I want to do is put a backpack on his back. So
exactly. So you guys are open to it. You're open to the ideal of it.
We're definitively open to it, and I think even more importantly, our investors are willing to fund that at the right time and at the right place.
I want to give a shout out to your website. It's www.cortex. That's CORTEX.net. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Joel, I want to thank you for coming on the show today. And, we're going to check back with you in a couple of months to see the growth of your company. Today, our guest was Cortex Business Solutions. They trade on the TSX under venture under the ticker symbol CBX. Joel, thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you, Everett. What a pleasure.